Hello, this is Jim Pellegrino. Welcome back to the hour, and our third guest is Marcy McDonald. Marcy, welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We have invited Marcy specifically on the show today because, as a world-renowned English Channel swimmer, she is the first American woman swimmer to go both ways.
Right.
Leave in England, swim to France, and come back. Right?
Correct.
So on the 26th of June this year, you swam across the channel for like the 11th time, Marcy.
Yes.
And that's like 21 miles, 10 hours and 34 minutes, England to France. So the first question I have to ask you is, why do you do this, Marcy? What drives you to do this?
I guess, well, right now I'm on a quest to have the most crossings for an American. Right now I have the most crossings for an American woman at 11, and I hope to get 15 in the near future.
Which would make you
overall American.
Overall, both men and women. And you know, the only name, and I did remember this, honest Marcy, that I remembered from channel swimming was Florence Chadwick.
Right.
And she swam the channel one way in 13 hours and 20 minutes, whereas you did it in 10 hours and 34 minutes.
Yeah.
So you were 3 hours faster than one of the most publicized sporting events ever with Florence Chadwick. So, I mean, are there personal reasons why you do this too, Marcy, to swim across the channel?
I've just finally realized that I'm pretty good at it, and I've accepted it. And when I was training for the double crossing, or shooting for it, it took me 3 tries to get to my first double. So I gradually raised these numbers, and it seemed like each time I got another crossing, there was another goal there. So right now I enjoy it.
I will tell the viewing audience that Marcy has a blog. And it is a great, great blog, not only for information and entertainment, but it's very instructive in what goes happen when she swims the channel. But you have like a little saying, it's 3 words: dream, prepare, and succeed. I like that, Marcy. Where did that come from?
Oh, I thought about that a few years ago when I was you know, getting ready to do the blog. And I've always had a lot of dreams, but you always have to prepare for anything that you do in your life. And if you prepare enough, there's a good chance that you're going to succeed. So.
But it's somewhere along. When did you first swim the channel?
My first crossing was 1994.
1994.
Yeah.
And what, did you wake up one day, Marcy, and say, you know what, Marcy, we're going to swim the channel someday? I mean, how does that happen?
Oh, my youngest sister said when I was 12 years old that I did mention it, but I don't remember it.
Really?
Yeah.
So how old were you when you swam for the first time?
30.
You were 30?
Yeah.
But what drove you to do it?
I've always been a swimmer, growing up in Manchester, and my swim coach, Mel Siebold, he would find a swimmer or a group of us who were distance swimmers, and he would take us to some open water swims. It just seemed like I just kept being led back to the water.
So did you swim competitively in high school?
Yes.
Like, so you were 500 yards?
Yeah, that was the distance.
That's 20 laps, as I remember.
That's a sprint now.
It's a sprint now. That's
Yeah.
exactly correct.
Yeah.
But I also, from reading, last Saturday, August 6th, was this event called St. Vincent's Swim Across the Sound, and you swam from Long Island to Bridgeport. Right. Tell us a little bit about that event, how you got involved in it, and why you really care about that a lot.
Well, that's a great swim. And in this past year...
This is St. Vincent's Hospital in Bridgeport.
Right, St. Vincent's Medical Center Foundation. And they actually help people with cancer with a variety of non-health insurance covered things, okay? And they have drives, they have mammogram vans that go to areas that, you know, women can't get mammograms. So it supports all Connecticut. And that was one thing that I really love about it, is that it's all about Connecticut. The other thing is that it's all about swimming. Yeah. So I got involved. I first saw Swim Across the Sound back when I was maybe in 1990s, but at that time it was a professional swim, and I'm not a professional. I pay money to do these things. So after my first double crossing in 2001, I wanted another goal. And I got involved, well, I saw this thing about the Swim Across the Sound. So I called them and I said, listen, I want to raise some money for you. So can I be the amateur in the swim, which I was, and raised about $7,500 for them. Ever since then, it's been all amateurs, and we're raising money for them.
But I mean, without getting too personal, though, Marcy, I mean, from reading your blog, I mean, there is a personal motivation here. Cancer has touched your family and friends, right?
Yeah, it touches everybody, if we really think about it. But the first person who, I mean, of course, I've had aunts and uncles that have had cancer, but we lost I coach a swim team in East Hartford, and we lost a young swimmer when she just turned 16.
I read that, yeah.
Nikki Giampolo. And then I just lost a brother-in-law a couple of years ago. So it does touch everybody. And
yeah, so you combine your skill with your dedication to community service, in that a swimming event allows you to raise money for something you care very deeply about. So listen, Marcy, let's go to the English Channel, okay? I have to tell you that when I was reading your blog, it piqued my interest about the English Channel, and I wound up going all over the internet to find out something about the English Channel, which you probably already know, but I want to give the audience a heads up.
Yeah.
Now, Marcy swam the English Channel both ways, and we're going to talk about that. And that took her about 21 hours, and she left somewhere near Dover, England, swam all the way to France, turned right around, and came back in 21 hours, right? I can't drive 21 hours without getting tired, let alone swimming the channel both ways, Marcy. So in reading about the English Channel, it turns out that what you're swimming over at one time was not there. 10,000 years ago, during the Ice Age, it was all ice. It melted and the channel was created. The other thing I read is over the spot where you swim, no less, in 43 AD, no less than 40,000 Roman legionnaires went across the channel to conquer what became Britannia, right? And then the last thing I read was under where you swim, there's like a 31-mile, like rail line under there?
Yeah.
So when you're swimming, Marcy, do you ever think that you're swimming over a spot that wasn't water, where the Roman legionnaires came by and there's a rail system underneath you?
Well, a lot of times I do think about the ghosts that are down there, because a lot of other stuff has gone over the channel. But that's one reason why I love going back there, because there's so much history there. I mean, it really is a fantastic place, and I learn something new every time I go there.
Yeah. So you do have that sense of history.
I do.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Okay, so you're going to take us on a little bit of a swim, and there are 7 subcategories that I picked up for your blog that I want to get educated on, and I want the audience to get educated on. So what the audience needs to do is think of themselves getting ready to swim the English Channel. So the first category I wanted to ask you about is, give us a brief on your workout schedule before you swim, maybe even while you swim, and even after you swim. What's your workout schedule, Marcy?
Well, the year before I swim, and I've learned that I just pretty much stay in shape, because it's much easier to stay in shape than get out of shape and then get back into it, unless I have an injury, is to be consistent with my training. So I'll train 5 days a week, 2.5 to 3 hours, which is about 6 or 7 miles on those days, and then maybe a long swim.
6 or 7 miles of swimming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in a pool.
Okay.
And then when it's warmer weather, I go down to Long Island Sound. I go to Hammonasset State Beach, and there's a bunch of us that meet on the weekends, which I'm going to.
But how about out of the water? Do you do exercises out of the water with weights, aerobics? What? I
do a lot of yoga, some lightweight training with dumbbells, and I'm always trying to think of my position for my shoulders. That's really important.